You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts.
Happy holidays, I guess?
Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels.
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football.
Come on, you foxes!
League preview show with Chris and Craig on Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Right, Chris.
All right there. All right the back. How are you all? How the devil are you, in fact? I love this this shirt because it matches my little mate there. Say hi, Devil. Hi, Devil. How are you doing? It's been ages since I last saw you. What have you been up to? What could you do in the 30 minutes? Well, I'll tell you what I could do. This is actually, I can't believe I'm going to say this, my sloppy seconds, and it's Craig. And this is where you can find and listen to us.
Watch us on YouTube. Listen on your favourite podcast platform or ask your smart speaker to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow and join in now.
Indeed, Craig is my football sandwich today. I'm sure if that doesn't scare him off, nothing will. Sloppy seconds and football sandwich. We've just finished looking back at the game with... he's gone. I can see that he's gone. He's hiding. Don't blame him. Just finished doing a show with Mike, the Watford fan. It was a great chat with him because I'd forgotten about Nigel Pearson last season and Claudio, and of course, the fact that we won always makes it enjoyable. And coming up later, we've got X on the pitch with X-Fox Julian Watts. But I know you can't wait, ladies. You've been waiting, 4 or 5 days for him. He's here.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the main event of the evening. 60 minutes of football fun and banter with Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV. Are you ready? Let's get ready to rumble.
Indeed, it's the page 7 fella. Great. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Hope everyone's all right out there. I'm not sure I'm happy about being described as your sloppy seconds, though, Chris. Although I know I like to think of it more as this is your 2 jabs and your booster tonight, with you having 3. So I'm your second prick of the night.
No. I'm not biting my tongue. we should move on. I'm so dying to, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave you have that. A question for you, Craig.
All right. Quiz
What
time.
were you doing this day in 1968?
1968. Well, at least I was alive this time.
Let's find out, shall we?
Yeah.
Leicester City FC on this day in history with Leicester Till I Die TV.
Well, it was a Saturday, 30th of November 1968. Everton piled on the misery for Division 1 strugglers Leicester City at Goodison Park. Rodney Fern, now there's a name from the past, was on target for City in a crushing, are you ready for this? 7-1 defeat.
Oof.
That made it 8 games without a win for the Foxes. Joe Royal got a hat-trick for the Toffee men.
Oh, big head Joe Royal.
Yes. Hey, just put it in the box, you'd find his head.
I think I mentioned to you before, I've seen us lose 7-1 twice.
Yes.
In the same season. So, yeah.
Yes.
Not happy memories. Anyone who was there, you have my commiserations.
Indeed. That said, maybe we should be playing in the snow every week.
Maybe. It was interesting. I don't know how it came across on the streams or on the TV, but there were times. Hi, Scott. There were times it was very difficult to see the ball. That's true. Even I've looked back at a few of the highlights, and yeah, it's difficult to see the ball. And obviously, they changed it at half time when the weather had got worse to a yellow ball, which was worked really well against their yellow shirts as well. So anyway,
No.
at the end of it, we got the result, and that's all that counts.
I mean, their second goal, and I was watching it, I'm like, where did the ball go? Did it go wide? Did he hook it over? Did Casper smother it? I just couldn't see where the ball had gone.
Yeah, unfortunately, I could see it all too well. I mean, not long before that, Castagna had got caught out and been and caught by Dennis.
Yeah.
Not Dennis, I think it was one of the other guys on the left-hand side, on his side, and it came through, and I think they ended up passing it across the box to King when the guy should have shot, and we got away with that one. But he didn't learn his lesson and got caught again. There was no way. I don't think anybody in the crowd thought that was a foul and was going to be turned over.
No.
So it just shows you. But again, we got away with it, luckily.
Well, I mean, if anybody, by the way, if you have got nothing to do after this, there should be probably about an hour's gap between this and my third show of the evening. Get over there and have a look at this. Yep, it's the Tuesday talking point on the BBC website, which, as you know, is always me. And, I've always got something to talk about. And they do say, if a week is a long time in politics, it's bloody a lot longer than that in football. This time last week, we were all doom and gloom, looking at it in Europe. A week later, we've gone from bottom to top, and it's back in our hands. And we stuffed Watford in the snow.
Exactly. I think we've scored 7 goals in the process. But still, I did read today that Brendan thinks we're still too entertaining in terms of scoring. Yeah, we're scoring, but we're not tight at the back. And I had a quick look, actually, and only Watford and Norwich, Watford, Norwich and Newcastle have conceded more goals than us this season, which is a little bit worrying, to be honest.
Yes.
Having said that, we are one of only 6 teams who have scored 20 or more. So on one side, and
where's Kevin Keegan? Is he back? Yeah, it's Kevin Keegan back. You score
Exactly.
3, we'll score 4.
Yeah.
I must admit, at 3-1, when they did get that second goal and had worked out it had gone in, at 3-2, I thought, here we go.
Yeah, that's the worry, isn't it? It's always a bit of a worry when you know, because you automatically start sitting back to protect what you've got. But
Yes.
Typical Leicester. We managed to break away. And we had 2 or 3 chances, but we definitely seemed a bit more cautious. But then I guess if you put yourself in a winning position, it's about managing the game out rather than
Exactly.
Going scoring a lot, particularly in our position. That was the most important thing.
We have got a lot of matches coming up.
We have, haven't we? We've got 9 in December, haven't we?
I was going to say, I think it was 9 in December.
Yeah.
We've got a Europa League game. We've got a couple of midweek games, and we've got a Carabao Cup game all into the mix, as well as just the normal league fixtures.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the next one that is up. It's away to Southampton tomorrow. It's at St Mary's, a 7:30 kickoff. If you've got Amazon Prime, you can watch it free of charge. Otherwise, you can listen in on lcfc.com/radio. If it's working, it took ages to get working on Saturday. Or if you like the BBC, you can listen into BBC Radio Leicester. It is also on Radio 5 Live. How will you be watching it, Craig?
I shall probably be watching it on Prime, I would think.
Yes.
Yeah. To be honest, I'd forgotten it was on Prime because I realised it wasn't on any of the normal channels. But so thanks. Just shows you how useful those little reminders are, Chris.
Hey, I'm here to help. I should get one of those Asda badges, shouldn't I? Happy to help.
You should do. You'd be up to at least 2 stars by now, I would have thought.
That's McDonald's, but yeah, thank you for that. I'll tell you where you can put your burger. So we said hello to Scott, Brad, and TM. David S. Hello, Chris and Craig. Hope you're both well. I am, and I think Craig is as well. And Static back for more. Hiya, Static. How are you doing?
Hiya.
How the devil are you? And get ready, because I did say the other week that we had a range of Leicester Till I Die accessories that are going to be coming on for sale, and we're going to have polo shirts, hoodies, t-shirts, and sweatshirts available in a choice of colours: yellow, white, and blue, obviously. And we're also going to have the option: you can either have the Leicester Till I Die wording on it, or you can have "How the devil are you" on it. So a must for everybody that supports Leicester.
Not that muscly picture of me that you like putting up, Chris. Not that one.
No, I thought, to be honest with you, I'd have to have paid you too much commission.
That's true, to be fair. That is true.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, mate, I couldn't afford you.
just check the loose change in your pocket. I think you could.
Anyway, Southampton away, midweek, winter. Me going to watch it. Alan Bennett going to watch it. Put all those things together. Last time all that happened, we won 9-0.
Yeah, so anything less, Chris, I'll be very, very disappointed. And I assume that in the Predictions League, you've gone for a 9-0 as well.
Well, you better check it out, hadn't you? I'm not talking predictions. I had a really, really, really bad week last week in the long ball.
Is it as bad as mine? Because I forgot to put them in.
Oh, did you know? Then no. What can I just say? You got no points. I got 2. So I wasn't a lot better off than you.
Well done. Well done. Thanks. Thanks, Chris, for not taking advantage of me.
No. Well, Brad did. Brad's not as nice as me. He got 13 points. So yeah. I know. But I looked at it afterwards when I was checking the results. I'm thinking, I don't remember doing that. And I don't remember doing that. I think sometimes when I'm typing in, it kind of, if I go 2-1, somehow the 1 also carries on to the next game.
Right.
So instead of putting 3-1 on the next game, it goes 1-3.
It's a technicality. Yeah.
I'm thinking I don't remember picking that result for that game. I got Norwich to win, never, What? But no, it's. This time last season, well, we played them twice last season. Obviously, goes without saying. I noticed these sort of things, but we got the draw at their place. That was on a Friday night as well. And after 10 minutes, a certain Yannick Vestergaard got sent off.
Did he?
After just 10 minutes against high-flying Leicester, there were fears 10-man Saints would capitulate in a similar way to the previous season's 9-0 thrashing, but they didn't. They got the 1-1 draw. So I can't
even remember who scored in that game. Usually I can remember these, but it sounds like a forgettable game.
It did. It doesn't say on my notes here. Oh, it does. Yeah. Johnny Evans.
Johnny, no wonder I'd wiped it from my memory.
I knew you were going to say that. A Kelechi Iheanacho cross nodded in by Johnny Evans. It was 1-1, but we got a 2-0 over them. How do you see it going this? Because I mean, dare I say, and on the BBC thing that I wrote, I do say like whispered that we might be back. But do you think we are?
Well, I think there's definite signs, particularly going forward. I think Maddison's looking more like his old self.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
The key for that will be getting the ball to him, because he's looking for it, he's wanting it, and he's wanting to make things happen. Again, he seems to have created almost this diamond front four at the moment, rather than going back to a 2 up front. So he's got this diamond front four with Barnes and Lookman either side of Vardy, and then Maddison pulling all the strings behind, which is great. I thought against Watford there were times where we were asking a lot of Castagna to make up the width, because Lookman was coming inside a hell of a lot. And to be honest, I assume he's been told to do that. But also, when I thought he should have been coming out wide and stretching the defence to make more room for Vardy to make little runs in down the side of the centre halves, he stayed in field. So I thought there were little tweaks. It worked pretty well. But I think things like that sort of off the ball running awareness of creating space for others can be improved, and particularly away from home, they're needing a result. They've not been on a good run at all. To be fair, Southampton.
No.
Oh yeah.
So
So I'm confident. I'm more confident than I was, as you say, this time last week. We're still susceptible, aren't we, to letting a goal in? We can't. Well, it seems at the moment that we're just helping them as much as we can, because if we doesn't look like they're going to score in open play, we'll just get Wilf to give them a penalty.
What I did say? What are those? The police put them on your ankle. I'm not accusing you of knowing, but when the police put like a bracelet on your ankle, and you can't, it knows when you go out. Yeah, tag, exactly. Yeah. Do you think we can put one on Wilf that goes off every time he goes in the area, so that all the other players?
Yeah, particularly in open play. I mean, I'll allow him to go in for a set piece or something, but in open play, I mean, just stay away. Surely he can't get a hat trick of penalties given away. It'd be interesting to know if anybody's ever done that. What's the greatest number of consecutive games a player has given away a penalty? I'm sure someone somewhere has that.
Somebody that's watching can probably Google that for us. I mean, Jamie Vardy's on fire again. Do you think he will start?
I think so. Although it's going to be difficult, isn't it? At least now we've got the extra day, I think, because we play Wednesday and Sunday rather than Thursday and Sunday, which we have been doing with Europa. So we've got an extra day. So I think he'll start him again. I don't think there'll be too much tinkering about. It's difficult, but as you say, 9 games to fit in December. I think there's going to have to be some. To be honest, the more I think about it, he may tweak it. He may put Jamie on the bench. He may start Daka. He may even give Iheanacho 90 minutes. So Iheanacho seems to be pushed out of the picture a little bit at the moment. And we all know
I do feel for that guy. I really do.
I mean, and he's a confidence player, isn't he? So he needs to get some pitch time. So maybe he tweaks it again. Brendan. He always comes out with something when we think we've got it nailed, and he knows he's back to a formation. He'll tweak it.
He will indeed. Coming up later, you can hear a Christmas. I've recorded a Christmas single, by the way.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so holding your enthusiasm, but that will be coming up towards the end of the show. I know you're really excited about that. Yeah. Going into the game, though, here we've got sort of the form. It's spot on, exactly the same. It's just that we've come in after. I mean, it doesn't show obviously the Warsaw game on there, but they're coming in on 2 losses. We're coming on 2 wins, if you include the Warsaw and the Watford. But they got a hammering against Liverpool. And of course, it must have been a bit soul destroying the loss to Norwich.
Yeah, that was a big one, isn't it? That's going to knock anybody. And I think, by all accounts, they were sort of well in the game until Liverpool scored, and then it sort of the floodgates opened a little bit. But we know Liverpool can do that to anybody, to be honest.
Yes.
And again, I think it's one of those games where it's going to be important for us to get the first goal, because as you can see, they're not prolific. I don't think they've scored more than 2 in those 5. I think there was a couple of even the victories. I think were 1-0s.
Yes, they were. Yeah.
And they've got a couple of decent players. Livramento has been really good this season. Who's come in from Chelsea, I think. Another one out of the Chelsea brigade who decided to not go out on loan and wanted to move. So he's doing well. I think Shea Adams is a decent striker, and I think Armstrong's a good finisher, but he doesn't really create his own chances. He's sort of an instinctive finisher, so hopefully we can keep those quiet. And when you look at it after that, there's not a great deal of threat. A lot of it's going to be coming from set pieces, from the James Ward-Prowse, obviously, and we know, if we do give a penalty, there's every chance that he's not going to miss it. So let's hope we don't. But I think when you look at the quality of the two teams, it should be a Leicester victory.
Yes, you would hope so. How many times have we said that this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about desire, isn't it? As well, that comes into it. But I think very much Southampton are a confidence team. We've already talked about Iheanacho being a confidence player. I think Southampton are a confidence team. And how often do you see Southampton concede a couple of goals? If they concede a couple of goals close together, they often go on to concede 3, 4, 5. They seem to be that kind of team. I don't know. Obviously, I don't follow them as closely as some people, but I can't believe that they're not a team who come back very often. I don't think of them as that kind of team who've always going to come back and be in a game. So again, that first goal is going to be important.
Team news wise, Mohammed. Oh my God, I had to read this one out, didn't I?
This Elianusi.
That's the guy. Yeah, thank you. Maybe involved after missing the Liverpool game, as his partner was giving birth. Stuart Armstrong is out for Southampton. Yuri Tillemans is back in training, but won't be risked. That's a bit earlier than I was expecting.
Yeah.
But great news. Pierre is still unavailable, along with obviously Justin and Fofana. Is he going to? I mean, looking at, we can never second guess Brendan. We've tried it many times, and we've just given up now, haven't we? Even though Brad's gone 5-0 Leicester, I would take that.
We all would.
Yeah, Rennie says here, would you rather have Vardy, Daka, or Kelechi up front? I'd like to see. Because we've got the 2 games a week, because we've got obviously Southampton, then we've got Napoli next week, then we've got another midweek Spurs, is it? I think midweek, and then we've got Liverpool Carling Cup, and then we've got the couple of games over Christmas. I don't think Jamie, with the best will in the world, for me, even with that extra day, can play. And I think if he's going to stick to how he's been playing now, you've got to say the obvious choice, I suppose, is Daka.
I think he might well go with Daka, to be honest, thinking about it. Because you're away from home. The onus is on them to come forward and push on. And then, so the best way for us is to exploit the space that they leave behind. If they're going to be playing a high line, then with the best will in the world, Daka is quicker than Jamie now. Jamie's still quick. And for a man of his age, he'd probably just beat the both of us on a sprint.
Only just.
Yeah, it depends if it was to the buffet bar. However, but for if you're going to play a team that don't have a lot of pace, I think Livramento's fairly quick, and I think Walker Peters, if he's playing on the other side, can't really see a lot of pace through the middle. Daka could well be the ideal one to exploit that, particularly if we're getting Maddison on the ball who can get his head up. So I think you're right. It could well be the game for Daka.
BBC say here a big one against Watford. James Maddison, I can't even say his name now, both scored and assisted. I'm totally losing. I'll start that again. Against Watford, James Maddison both scored and assisted in a Premier League game for the first time. Wow. Is he back in form?
Well, I think it's been building, the last few weeks. I think we've all seen little cameos of what he can do. I don't know what's been going off, off the pitch, but I think he's come out on a couple of interviews as well and said that even with him, confidence is a massive thing. Those people who are, shall we say, outwardly confident, that confidence is a much bigger part of their game than normal people, I think. So when somebody like Maddison's confidence dips a little, it has probably a bigger effect on him than it would on another player. So he's looking like his old self, isn't he? He's definitely getting on the ball more. He's demanding the ball, and that's what I like. I hate it when you see footballers not demand the ball. If you're not wanting the ball, why are you on the pitch?
On the pitch, yes.
I'm gonna leave Johnny out of that because I would hope that he doesn't demand the ball. I'm quite happy for him not to have it.
He scored in this fixture last season, remember?
That's true. What he does give, he does give people a chance to nip off to the loo or go and get a pie, because chances are he's still standing on the ball by the time they come back.
And you were missing him when he was injured. You wanted him back.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's good to see James Maddison, that confidence coming back to him. And, he tried a shot, I think, very early in the game. He's looking to take shots on. He's looking to feed people in. He's looking to play little 1-2s. And what he's doing more than ever, where you see that he's confident, is that little bit of he's faking, he's reminding me very much of old Kramaric when Kramaric used to play, and he was the king of the fake shot. Kramaric was, but Maddison is doing that a lot, and it's good to see it. And you talk about rotation. Now it's going to be interesting to see whether he thinks that it's better to just keep Maddison in there to build that confidence rather than rest him.
Do you think, Matt? I mean, am I sort of you can read football a lot better than me because you are the wise old owl. I am just the young green, yellow fluffy chick, but cute with it. I like to think. Has Maddison been given sort of more of a freer role? Because he seems to sort of be all over the place.
Yeah, as I say, there's been times when Brendan's almost had to try and fit him in. Because you've had Wilf and you've had Tielemans in the middle, and he's wanted to play with two up front, so he's had two wide men, and Maddison has had to be one of those wide players, and that doesn't suit him. He wants to have that free role, that classic number 10, where he can just drift around and get on the ball wherever he wants. And I think, again, fair play to Brendan for trying to get the best out of him. Like I say, it's an interesting formation he's playing at the minute with Barnes and Lookman. I mean, it looked like Barnes was out of the picture for a while.
Yeah,
but it does show you that, again, the sacrificial lamb is Iheanacho this time. That he's moved away from playing the two up front. I mean, I think in the position, the way that Lookman played, slightly infield, I don't think there's any reason why Iheanacho couldn't play that role as well. So, he could play Daka and Iheanacho if he's playing a narrow wide man, if that's not a contradiction in terms. So he could fit him in that with the way that Lookman played. So, there may be an opportunity for Iheanacho.
I mean, we've said before, I mean, this front diamond with either, Vardy, you would say Vardy or Daka at the head of it, Barnes and Lookman either side, and Maddison just behind controlling it. Is that the way forward, do you think? I mean, we saw it work, reasonably well. Are we going to see him, do you think, say, right, this is it now, or is he still going to be chopping and changing every week?
I think what he might be doing is finding a formation that he can stick to. and then it's just the personnel that change around it, because obviously he's not got Tielemans. So I think he's almost sacrificing a little bit of ball possession by having Ndidi and Samari. So Samari doesn't get around the pitch that long, so he's not as mobile as Tielemans is. So he's almost thinking, right, I've got two players who are almost sitting in. What I can then do is have the three in front, just get them to get the ball to Madders and hope the front three are making enough runs and there's enough movement in front of him. But I can see particularly why Tielemans is out, him sticking with this formation. And it could be that Dewsbury Hall gets a start instead of Samari as well tomorrow night. I can't see him making too many changes. We've already talked about 3 changes in the front half of the pitch. And I think the key is when you are resting players to not make too many changes, because then it all becomes a little bit iffy that people don't know where the others are. So I think if you can make 1 or 2 and then manage it through the rest of the game.
We spoke about this, didn't we? With Chelsea, they, Tuchel has his formation and that's it. He doesn't deviate from it. You worry about me. I'm not going to worry about you. Yeah. And if he takes player A out, he knows that player Z will go in and fit into that position because that's what he's got. So maybe he wants to learn from that. But when we're talking about Maddison, there's been some shouts that, talking of shouts, that he shouted, leave the ball against Watford.
Well, I was sitting next to Scott and he thought, he said the guy must have had a shout. And the only thing we could think of was that Madders probably shouted keepers. But then I would have thought that would have come out in the press afterwards, that would have been said. So I don't know. I personally think that if you watch the game from the wider shot, you could see Maddison. And again, I don't know if this was picked up on TV. You could see Maddison made it look like he was going to make that run in behind, and Johnny saw him. Now, whether Johnny was passing it to him or was trying to get to Vardy, but he came from a very wide position, almost like Rashford did when he got the Man United second goal. He comes from a wide position and he's out of the peripheral vision of the centre halves. So it looked to me like that guy was thinking, Maddison's never going to be in behind me. He's always in front. I've had a glance. He's over there. All I've got to worry about is Vardy. The ball comes. He can see Vardy's in front of him. He thinks he's going to go through to the keeper. And obviously Maddison had gambled and made that run. So, he may have done, but I just think it was a bad defensive error and he thought it was going to go through to the keeper.
It did smack a bit of, because I think if the keeper had shouted keeper, he would have been coming out for it more.
Yeah.
And I think, like you say, I think he'd taken his eyes off Maddison and was concentrating on, Vardy's there, it's safe, sort of thing.
Exactly. And
it's almost like he made like oh my God, I've done this. Who can I blame?
Yeah. I think because he didn't look particularly apologetic afterwards, to be honest. It was almost if it was someone else's fault. You could say, yes, it is because nobody tracked the runner.
Yes.
But you think your centre half is going to head it, when it's there, not duck under it. So I think, unfortunately, Ranieri's got them playing quite well going forward, but the death of them is going to be their defence if you can't tighten it up.
They said that. Well, you could say that about Leicester, couldn't you? Really?
Yeah,
but
true.
But we hope that this might be the new dawn. Now I know this always confuses you, but the season so far, we're 5 points above them. We'll come onto the table in a minute. We've won 2 more than them. Average goals scored per match, we're 1.5. They're 0.8. Goals conceded, we've conceded more, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
Only the 1 clean sheet to their 5, although our chances have now finally come up. Like you say, on paper, that should be our game, but we don't play on paper, do we?
No, sadly not. But again, if Brendan's starting to come out again and getting a bit sort of confident and ballsy again, isn't he, about saying this is where we're looking to be. We want to be in and around those Europa League spots and top 6, and we've got our eye on it. We're getting back to more like ourselves. These are the games that you've got to win, because you can have 1, 2, 3 wins. A defeat or a poor performance can knock that confidence right out of you again, and you're rebuilding it, and going away to Villa with they're riding the crest of the Gerrard wave at the moment. That's not going to be an easy place to go. So, I'd probably say a point over there would be a good point. So you've got to be looking at 3 here. You get 4 out of these 2 games, I think he'd be quite happy with it.
I think with the games that are coming up, I mean, neither of us are sort of, well, we're just in the top half, although we're on the second sheet there. They're down in 15th. Again, we are, let me just have a look at this here. 18. I mean, we're 9 points clear now of Burnley, but they have got a game in hand over us. But we are still only 2 points off, 6th.
2 points off 6th, 5 off the top 4. I mean,
yes.
I mean, hopefully, we've almost got away with it a little bit by the fact that everyone else is taking points off each other as well. Nobody. We expected the top 3 to run away. They were clearly by far and away better than everyone else in this. So it's going to be a fight for that 4th, 5th, 6th, wherever it goes down to for European football. So you just want to be in the mix, don't you? That's, and it may suit us better that we can come late, but this month is going to be critical to us, particularly, obviously, as we know we're going to be losing players to the African Cup of Nations.
Yeah. Again, exactly what Watford said about themselves as well. But it is, I think, when you look at December, this is our toughest month. We always seem to get Man City and Liverpool over the Christmas period. I don't know what the supercomputer likes doing for that, but that's what it is. Had we had a good start, we could have probably got away with it, but obviously we can't as much now. And looking at our upcoming games here, I mean, after Southampton, like I say, we have then got Villa at the weekend, Napoli midweek, Newcastle, who you would hope should be a game we can win. Tottenham should be a game we could still win, because somebody said, you can't polish a poo, can you? Sorry, TM, if you're still watching. and Everton there, and before we get into the real, I mean, that's our next sort of 6 games, including Southampton. But Villa, I'd take a point probably at this point, because I think they are on the Gerrard crest of a wave. But Newcastle, Tottenham and Everton, I'd hope for about 7 points from those.
I think you've got to be looking for 7, haven't you? I mean, Everton are playing with absolutely no confidence at the moment. I've never been a big fan of Benitez, and he's proven me right again, which thank you, Raphael. They look bereft of confidence now. Hopefully, what may turn their season around is their next game, because tomorrow night I think they've got Liverpool.
Yes, they have.
Goodison. So that could be their season going either way. They get a good hiding, they're going to be rock bottom, and all the pressure comes on Benitez. Then they manage to get a win. He's a hero again, and they go. Confidence is boosted. So I mean, everybody's got. If you're not playing in Europe, obviously you've got an easier ride.
Yeah.
Everybody who's in Europe is going to have a busy time at the moment, particularly us as we're going through. Spurs will be in the same boat as well, in that little conference, Tim Pot, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I best not call it too many things at the minute, because we may be in it. So it's a very, very valuable and really important third-tier trophy in Europe. So, they're going to be having games in that as well. And I think they're in a similar position, that they still need a win to get through, if indeed they want to get through.
Yeah.
So everybody's having to manage their squads,
I think with Rafa, he has disappointed me this season, but I think, like you say, I think he's spending too much time with his fellow turtles. That's his trouble. I always like it when you set the bar low, Chris. I do. Well, it's because I know I'm never going to reach it, however low I set it. I'm never going to get over it. Just going through a few comments with you here. Rennie asks, do we sign Lookman? I mean, I said to you before, I think I was nervous about going too quickly on a decision because I thought Under was brilliant when we first got him and his first few games. But he looks a good player.
He does, and it's interesting. Brendan's come out, and I think he was asked about Lookman, and he's always a little bit coy with his comments because he said Lookman will be a really good player when he finds his home, and he finds a place to settle down, and can just stay at a club because he's had a few loans. It's clear that Leipzig isn't going to be his long-term home. But he really likes him as a player, likes him as a person, thinks he's a really good trainer, wants to learn, blah, blah, blah. I think it'll come down to Brendan will have a valuation of him. And if he can get him for that valuation, he'll probably go for him. If he can't, he'll just wave goodbye. I don't think he'll pay over the odds for him, to be honest.
No. Dorco, good evening, Dorco. How the devil are you? Perez is a striker who likes scoring against Southampton. That's a good point. He doesn't get as many goals, but he does when we play Southampton.
He does, and again, I thought he may have got some pitch time at the weekend, to be honest, because again, in that sort of infield striker, support striker role, or even to replace Maddison, I thought he may have brought him on there, to be honest. So he could do a job. He's a similar player in terms of he likes picking up little pockets of space. So, yeah, I think it's good that what we've got, particularly in the forward areas, we've got choice at the moment. Brendan's got a lot of options. He hasn't got a lot of options at the back. Unfortunately, it sounded like James Justin had a little bit of a setback. He was hoping to play him in the under-23s and he didn't. He got a niggle that seems to have put him back, but they don't think it's anything too bad. It's just sort of put him back a week or so. So he hasn't got a lot of options at the back, so that's going to be difficult for him to rotate. I mean, we don't particularly want to see Vestergaard, but having said that, it's a sort of thing where, we've seen enough players come back to haunt their old clubs, haven't we? So,
I mean, I was going to ask you that, but as you've mentioned it there, and hi Anthony, how are you? Thanks for popping in. Rennie says, be right back. We're waiting, Rennie. Are you back? We'll sit and wait for you. No, can't wait any longer. Do you play Bertrand or Vestergaard against Southampton just to rub it in, or we've got them now, or
I don't know. It seems pretty clear that Bertrand's gone down the pecking order for Thomas at the moment. There's still a little bit of debate about Thomas defensively, but then again, there is about Bertrand. What I do like about Thomas is he's quite strong in the tackle, and he does like getting forward. If he sees space, he'll go into it. So from an attacking point of view, that's great. It'll come down to whether Brendan's looking to be a little bit more defensive and play on the break in this game with the likes of Daka, maybe, as to whether he goes for that experience. But I'm not sure he can work both ways, can't he, with players coming back? They don't necessarily want to go in for a crunching tackle with somebody who was their mate or whatever. So I don't know. I'm not sure whether he'll go down that route or not.
Yeah, and do you disrupt what is, a settled back four at the moment? I say settled, 2 games, but Amati, I think, was unlucky not to be picked against Watford.
Well, I was going to say, it's not settled at all, is it? Because,
thinking about it, no.
Yeah, Evans came back in for Amati, so he doesn't mind shaking it around. I think Vestergaard works in a 3, as the centre of a 3. I don't think he necessarily works as a 2. And I don't think there's no way that you could play Vestergaard and Evans because there's absolutely no pace there at all. So I don't think you're right. He may tinker a little bit at fullback, but I think there's a lot to be said for keeping your keeper and your back 4 in place
as much as you can. I mean, do you think with Bertrand, I felt like at least he had that experience. When we didn't have Evans in there, he'd got that sort of head on when he could maybe, keeps, like we say, Soyuncu is better with Evans next to him because of the experience. When Evans was out, Bertrand offered that experience.
Yeah, he did. I think he's just been a little bit disappointing with his use of the ball when he's been on it, and I think, it's an important role. It's becoming more and more important. I heard someone talking this morning about, obviously we don't usually play with wing backs. We have had, times where we've gone to a back five and played with wing backs, but the wing backs / fullbacks are becoming more important in a game now, and particularly if Brendan is wanting to play sort of inverted wingers, that come inside and create space for your overlapping fullbacks. You've got to be able to get forward and get back. Now, whether Bertrand can do that, I don't know. And he is a little bit disappointed with his use of the ball, but he does have a good dead ball in him and set pieces. So
he does, yes.
I think he's good. This is Thomas's moment, before Justin comes back, and he seems to be grasping the nettle and taking his chance. Again, it'll be whether Brendan wants to protect him a little bit from a bit of burnout. And, with Pereira, I could see if Pereira was fit, I could see him switching Castagna over and giving Luke Thomas a break. But obviously, he doesn't have that option.
No. I think I don't sort of get worried when I see Thomas in there.
No. He's quite tough in the tackle, No, I quite like him, and he's only going to get better the more games he has.
Big Com here says Thomas looks more solid this season. He does. Andrew, good evening. Say how the devil are you? And he says, I think Maddison's form has got better since Tielemans has been out. Can they play together?
I mean, it's a good point, and I think we've mentioned this on a few occasions. It's the old Lampard-Gerrard thing. I think in the formation that he's playing at the minute, I think they can play together because he's got Maddison playing in that little pocket and Tielemans could find him. Even I think before Tielemans got injured, there were signs that, that was working. That's the sort of straight line passes through the middle. So I think they can. I think they just need to work at it a little bit because, sometimes, they're taking up each other's space and Tielemans likes to sort of break late into space where he's finding Maddison in that little pocket. So, but I think good players should be able to play with each other.
You would hope so. Right, we're going to have a look at a foot in both camps and take some score predictions, and we'll be back straight after this. Yes, my third show tonight. I'm like the Duracell bunny, aren't I? You can't stop me. No, I'm not. I'm still not. Julian Watts, obviously Leicester City professional, joins me at 9:00, and we'll be looking at: is it ever right to boo your football team, and how do players react to that? Because since they got that booing, they seem to have started to play well, but. Is it right to do it, and how do players feel about it? And the balloon, I can never say this out, the balloon door.
The Ballon d'Or.
Ballon d'Or, that's it, the Ballon d'Or, I just, is it becoming a joke now, and should any player even dream of winning it while Messi's still pulling a pair of boots on? So we'll be discussing that and any other questions anybody else has got, obviously, at the end of the show. Now then, Craig, as they we've given up on trying to predict the actual team, and I think that's the right decision that we've gone for, because I think it's getting impossible, isn't it?
Even now we've talked about changes, and then we sort of change our mind halfway through talking about them, so it's almost impossible.
Yeah, and the joint 11, you're only going to get that against the top 4 or 5 teams. But what we have done is, and I know you quite like this, is foot in both camps. A player who played for ourselves and Southampton, and your memories of him. And I haven't gone for anybody in black and white, so you're all right. Don't worry. I've gone for Rodney Fern. But although I think he did play for both, didn't he?
Did he? I don't know. I don't know if he played
I
for
have a
Southampton,
feeling
to be
Rodney
honest.
Fern played for Southampton as well, because didn't he play? Yeah, Rodney Fern, I'm sure, played in when Southampton won the FA Cup that time.
I know. I know Peter Rodriguez did.
I might be thinking of that. Well, yeah, I might be thinking of him. It's only because I mentioned Rodney Fern earlier.
Yeah.
In the
They
on
both
this
start with a
day.
rod, so yeah.
Yes, but
A
this.
bit like yourself.
Oh, now moving on again.
Yeah.
This is who we're going to talk about. One
Yeah,
of
old
my
Frankie.
favourite players. I mean, I started to follow Leicester in the Jimmy Bloomfield era, and he was. I mean, if you ask Alan Birchall about him, you're going to get a 3-hour chat out of him.
Yeah.
Amazing player, but so nearly wasn't ours.
No, indeed. I mean, he was scheduled to go to Liverpool, wasn't he? And I can't remember. I think we were going to get Toshak the other way around, and he failed his medical famously. I think there was they picked up some heart defect or whatever, or either that or they detected too much alcohol in his blood, which is probably more likely at that time. But no, he came to us. I mean, he was at Huddersfield, had a fantastic record at Huddersfield. Looked like he was going to Liverpool, and then we managed to get him. So, and a fantastic player for us. Obviously, I mean, he played more games for us than he played for anyone else in his career.
Yes.
210 games, 72 goals, 1 in 3, almost there for a striker between the years of 72 and 77. Which was, unfortunately, was a little bit before my time in terms of watching them. I may have seen him play because the first game I went to, my uncle took me down to. It was against Cardiff. So that may have been in his period, but I didn't really start going down regularly until sort of the Jot Wallace era, as it were. So I'm not sure whether I had the pleasure of seeing him play or not. But, I mean, the number of teams he's played for is absolutely ridiculous, obviously. But then he went to Southampton, and his goal record wasn't particularly great at Southampton, 4 in 34. But it did coincide with them actually finishing runners-up in the old First Division, ask your parents. They were runners-up to, I think it was, only finished 3 points behind Liverpool that season. So he wasn't prolific in front of goal, but I think they had a good team at the time, and finished runners-up. And then obviously he's remembered as well for his performance at Bolton, where he scored that particularly fantastic goal where he flicked it up over his head and volleyed it in. But again, I was surprised, and I'm always delighted, Chris, when you bring in a feature that allows me to ask you a little quiz question.
No. Now then. No. Well, I was going to say, remember, I've got the quiz, the Chase quiz book, and the On This Day in History. Are you sure you want to go there?
No, I'm happy because you'll enjoy this, and the people watching may know this. So, when Frank went to Bolton in the 78-79 season, now, I think you were old enough to be watching quite a bit of football at that time. He actually finished as the top goal scorer in the First Division, the Premier League of its day. He was top goal scorer for Bolton, not for Bolton, but he won the Golden Boot with Bolton that year. Scored 24 goals.
I thought that was going to be the question, but
that would have been a good one. He finished 3 ahead of his nearest counterpart and 5 ahead of the player who was in third. Can you tell me either of those players who finished second and third? And I'll give you a clue. One of them used to play for us.
Okay. Was one of them Scottish?
One of them was. In fact, they both may have been. But one of them definitely was.
Was that one for Liverpool by any chance?
It may well have been, Chris.
You're not giving much away here. You're not helping me at all.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm not saying no. So
No.
I would.
I mean, I'm
infer from
thinking
that you're
one of
probably
them.
right.
I'm thinking one of them might be Kenny Dalglish.
Kenny Dalglish, he finished 3 ahead of Kenny Dalglish.
Oof,
Now,
right.
he finished 5 ahead. The guy who was third in the table was an ex-Leicester player. I will give you his club to give you a chance. West Brom. I know. Someone playing for West Brom and being
that helps.
third
That
in the
really,
scoring
really
chart.
helps, does it? Wow. I'm just impressed I got Kenny Dalglish. I've got to be honest with
well
you.
done.
I went to West Brom. I'm.
If anyone else has got this one, feel free to just who's not Googled.
Yes,
feel free
I
to
will
just pop it in the comments for Chris.
I will leave that one in the comments. I got Kenny
Yeah.
Dalglish. If anybody else can get the other one and help me out here, put it in the comments, and we will come back to that one.
Yeah.
I went to West Brom. You went from us to West Brom.
I'm just going to check that it wasn't the other way around, but I'm pretty sure. I'll let you get the predictions table up because I know you're going to move on to the score predictions next.
I have, but I haven't got the table ready because not everybody has replied.
Right.
These are the predictions. TM has already gone 3-1 to the Foxes. TM, that is an absolutely wonderful guess because I've also gone 3-1 to
Oh,
Leicester.
you're stealing
well.
it. You're stealing.
Well,
Stealing my scoreline, Chris.
What can I say? I can't fail if I go with that choice, can I?
Well, you can.
Ian Marshall's gone 2-1 to Leicester. Steve Lynix is doing his sort of normal sort of reverse psychology, has gone 1-0 to Southampton. And Jerry Tackett has gone 1-0, big 1-0 win to Leicester. I'm just waiting on Walshy and Ian Wilson to come back with theirs, and it will be up on the website and be up on obviously Facebook and Twitter. Scott says here you're using double standards now. Chris as Craig, you are double standards now. Chris as Craig can check through search
Yes,
engines.
Scott. But can I just say, Scott, that I'm not doing that to get the answer. I'm just double checking my facts because obviously everyone else will tell me. And I've just checked my facts and I was correct. He went from Leicester to West Brom. If you want some more stats.
The stats aren't going to help, to be honest with you. What was his initials?
Well, hang on. Right. Right. He played for us between 68 and 71, 101 appearances, 31 goals. Went from West Brom from 71 to 83. So he was playing into the 80s. Had a loan period at Portland Timbers, then went to Crystal Palace, Warsaw, finished his career at Port Vale in 1986. So he had a long old career, 520 appearances, 149 goals, born in Musselburgh in Scotland. He's still with us. He is 70 years old.
Well, he must be Scottish then, if he was born in Musselburgh.
Yep.
I haven't mentioned his name in any of the guys tonight, have I?
Well, it's interesting you say that, Chris. No, you haven't.
No, so it's not Ian then. Quickly changing the subject, Scott has tried doing a Steve Lynix. He's gone 3-2 Southampton. Wow. What about yourself?
You know what? I'm going for a clean sheet. I know it's ridiculous. I'm going to go 2-0.
If we get a clean sheet, mate, whenever you come down, I'll buy you a beer. Because I think it'll be a long time before we get a clean. I think we've got to get a couple of players back for us to get a clean sheet. But 2-0. Well, I've gone for your 3-1. I've pinched it off you this week.
Yeah,
so
I can't take that.
I'm going to say I can't. He went to America.
Only on loan from West Brom.
On loan.
Played for Portland Timbers.
Who went? You see, Len Glover went to Leicester, but he was never prolific goals to America for a while.
I don't remember that bit. I just remember him. I can see him on. I can see him in his West Brom kit. But is
it going to be one of those that I'm going to go? Oh God!
Yep. Oh, I would imagine so.
You're going to be honest with you, we could still be doing this at 12 o'clock tonight.
Right.
Sat there. I should have put the time. I should have got the timer up.
You should have done.
Tell me if you're going to do this, and I'll get the timer up for myself. And
as a last thing, I'll give you his initials, which were AB.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the Birch.
Alan Birchinall. No, it wasn't.
No. AB. No. It's at St Mary's, by the way, Nippon.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it was Ali Brown, Alistair Brown.
Oh my God! I'd still be here at Christmas, and I wouldn't have got that. Yes,
no.
Yes. Like you say, it's around that age when I started to go. Before that, I'd followed Leicester and watched the match of the day, but didn't really sort of go to a lot of matches. But it was around that. I don't remember him, to be honest with you. I can't visualize him at all.
Well, yeah, but I'm going to say he finished third that season. But anyway, Frankie Were, though, just finishing off him. What an absolute legend. Was still playing into his 40s. He played at Guiseley Rovers in his 40s. He just loved football, didn't he? And and a sad miss.
A sad miss, an RIP, because it was only this year, wasn't it?
It was indeed,
when he passed, and his health wasn't in the best. But I think you're a bit like me. You follow his daughter on Facebook.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. I don't know if you remember a few years ago, not that many years. I think he was on like a "Come Dine with Me" celebrity special, which was absolutely If you haven't seen that, try and find that on YouTube. That's an interesting watch. Yeah.
Scott said it was all before his time. Well, before ours, I think, as well, if we're honest. But yeah, R.I.P. Frank, you are missed. But he was smiling up till the end, wasn't he? And, I mean, I know that it used to really, really, really pee Martin O'Neill off, because everybody said, "Oh, we played like this under the Bloomfield and the Bloomfield years," but we never actually won anything. But how much would that team be worth now?
Yeah, I mean, they were the entertainers, weren't they? They really were. We had a lot of people remember it for the players, who were going forward, the sort of strikers, as it were. And don't forget, Frankie Werther got all his England caps while he was playing for Leicester as well. And that short, brief period of time where Leicester supplied 4 of the starting 11 for a game against Northern Ireland, I think.
I mean, to be honest with you, it riles with me that, how good were those players? I mean, Keith Weller, I mean, I've got a signed picture of him up on my wall here. I love Frank, but I loved Keith even more. I mean, that goal against Luton. On that pitch as well, when you look at the state of the pitch, and obviously know the goal I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
But, I mean, I know it didn't end nicely for him at Leicester, but his skill, these are players that should have been getting more England caps than they did. But unfortunately, it was that time when, you play for Leicester, you didn't play for England.
That's true. I can say, apart from that one, and I think those 4 players got their chance when I think Joe Mercer was in temporary charge, and Joe Mercer had nothing to lose. He was a bit of a player who liked his entertaining football, so he threw them all in. I think it was Whitworth, Weller, Worthington, and I think Shilton in goal. So 4 Leicester players playing in there. But yeah, I mean, Weller, and you think about Weller and Worthington to a lesser extent, of the skillful players, and not only were they doing that on those pitches, but they were doing it when players were allowed to kick them black and blue as well. Yes. You know, as anybody who's watched any old footage of Leeds will be able to tell you.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, so
I think I said to you the other day, I was watching, I think it was Chelsea Charlton on ITV4, the big match revisited, and it was when they were both in what was the second division, ASCII parents, and they were kicking chunks out of each other, and the referee, he wasn't blowing up, he was letting, because in those days it was a man's game. You kicked so and so, and you played on, and that was it. There's no calling it back.
That's it. Even when you talk about, we've had chats on here with Julian and Steve Linex before that, who, you know, accepted that was part of the game, and Steve Linex particularly, I remember as having a conversation with him, how as a player going back a few years when tackles were allowed, loved that part of the game, and it's the bit that they really miss now, and really don't like modern football because that physical element's been taken away.
Steve especially. Steve hates it totally. TM, how do you keep all this knowledge in your brain? Who are you referring to, Craig or me or both of us there? Although Scott does say we've got a sponge in place of that general area.
I think you're right. My daughter will constantly ask me questions about something that I should know the answer to, and she'll come back to me and say, "Yeah, but you know who scored X goal in 1978 and who crossed it and God knows what." All that information is in there. Anything useful, that's gone.
And it's Craig. I'm disappointed. You could have been polite and said both, because I'm always polite about Spurs. Hey, we've got you in a few weeks, TM. You're going to come on live? We'll get you on live, TM. Andrew says, hang on, Chris, they did play the snow the other day. Yeah, but it was a blanket under the snow. That, you know, you got to you got to think of that. That pitch for that goal was like a field, wasn't it? It was like off Clarkson's farm. That's what it was. Craig, thank you very much.
You're welcome, as always.
I think it's going to be nice tomorrow, so I don't think I'm going to have to worry about getting wet.
When was the last time you saw us play live, Chris? That's another quiz question.
Honestly, another quiz question. I can tell you... when did Bournemouth get relegated?
When who, sorry?
When did Bournemouth get relegated?
A couple of seasons ago, wasn't it?
Was that before or after the 9-0?
It might have been the same season, was it? Because I think this is their second season down. I think. Because
it could well have been the 9-0.
Yeah.
I think it possibly was.
I tell you what, it was the Bournemouth game was the start of our downfall, not last season, the season before, where Soyuncu got sent off. And
I was there. Yes, that was. I was at that one. Yes.
Yeah.
And that was pre-COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that was an awful. I think we were leading 2-1 and we ended up losing 3-2. Soyuncu got sent off.
No, I'm lying to you, naughty Chris. I'm lying.
I know when it was. It
was the English Super Cup.
Super Cup, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes. That's when I last saw Leicester. Yeah. I was thinking league games for a minute, you know, but I'm really looking forward to it. I just can say I've got a seat quite close to the pitch, so I'm hopefully it's not going to rain like it did last time. Otherwise, I will be the proverbial drowned. I'm doing a Steve Linex. in the pitch, but catch it on Prime, and thank you so much. I will see you on Friday,
indeed,
for the Villa preview. Yes,
exactly. So I'll see if I've got another quiz question for you, Chris.
Oh, believe you me, I'm going to have plenty for you. You think you're getting away with that one. But Craig, as always, mate, it's a pleasure having you on. Pleasure to talk to you, if only because we do all our yesterdays and you remember as far back as I do, you know. And you've missed my Christmas single.
Yes. Where is it? You promised it earlier.
I don't know if I can play it. I really, really don't.
I think you can, can't you?
Shall I play out to it rather than
do that? Then I can sit back and just enjoy it, and you don't have to see how much I'm enjoying
it. Guys, we're going to be back in 49 minutes, and we'll be back with Julian, ex-player, looking at is it ever right to boo your own team, and is the Ballon d'Or a balloon? I can't even say it still. Is that just becoming a joke now? Craig, thanks so much, mate, and I will see you on Friday.
Cheers, everyone. Cheers, Chris.
Cheers, and thanks to everybody that joined in the chat as well.
I'm planning for a shite Christmas.
It's finally here. Now that's what I call a Corona Christmas.
I'm socially distant.
The shot in the arm we've all been waiting for.
I've got my gear on.
Christmas hit after Christmas hit.
The lockdown was over.
Lovingly ruined to help you not celebrate this Christmas.
Oh baby, there's COVID outside.
This long play double cassette CD comes with special 2-meter gaps between every song.
This comes to pass.
Johnny Mathis.
When a mask is worn.
Christmas favorites like
Sanitizers coming to town.
And even Boris himself.
Tis the season to be jolly bloody careful. Tra-la-la-la-la, la-la-la-la.
And a special message to anyone thinking of venturing out.
Driving's banned for Christmas.
Plus, Frosty got furloughed.
Frosty was furloughed, but he still got loads of cash.
The perfect accompaniment for the party you won't be having.
We're not allowed a party tonight. In case the cops turn up, fine us all £1,000 and kick us all outside.
Plus the biggest event of the year, courtesy of Dominic Cummings.
Cummings drove to Durham-pom-pom. Grandma's got to quarantine till Christmas, 'cause she flew to Benidorm last week.
Here comes more applause, here comes more applause every Thursday night.
And just released.
Pfizer's vaccine. 4 months of school, free school meals, 2 weeks at home, stay up.
The most contagious collection of Christmas songs ever recorded.
Stop the cabinet, stop the cabinet, stop the cabinet briefing.
Now that's a Corona Christmas, the perfect antidote to 2020.
Maybe it's COVID, who's to say? This cough won't go away. Can you stay 6 feet away?
Streaming live now from a 5G phone mast near you.